Can we talk about
All right.
Nintendo now?
Yes, we can actually. Hello, guys. Welcome to Ubercast, the first one of 2017. This is Connor, joined with Steve. He's often in these things. I mean, he's been in like over half of them. And for the first time on UberCrit or UberChat for that matter, we've got Chuy from ChuyPlaysNintendo.
Yeah, and I play Nintendo.
Yeah, he plays Nintendo like real good. He's been a longtime friend of mine. I've known him pretty much forever. Like that's a reasonable term, right? Pretty much
Yeah,
forever.
that's a good amount of time too.
Yeah. So we are going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch because that's like the biggest news right now. That's like completely everything involved around anything right now. There is CES, so I mean like a couple cool things. There was like that triple monitor, like laptop from Razer that two people stole. And
Amazing. How do you get something like that out of a
out of a
floor full of people?
convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right? It's insane. I don't understand how that happened. Like
Laptop bag?
yeah, but like it's on a table, there's people and they're all watching and you just kind of like be like, "All right, this
Somebody's
is
sitting there at the booth, right? Like just going,
Hey,
"Oh, cool, that guy is stealing everything."
yeah, right?
hey
Like
man.
someone had to have just like watched it happen or like maybe he did like the old, "Hey, you talk to that person about it and I'm just going to like put it in a bag and walk away."
Linus did get away with breaking a computer open by unscrewing it and like looking at the guts on the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, he's done that many times, and then now he actually has permission to do it. Like he
Yeah.
seeks to do it. But yeah,
God, I hope
that's
Linus loves that razor that he stole.
I like to assume that Linus stole one of them. It would make sense. Going on to Nintendo, that's the big news. Chewy, why don't you start us off with what you want to go with on Nintendo right now? Because for our viewers, we'll just go ahead and mention tomorrow, because we're doing this on Wednesday. Tomorrow is going to be not podcast. It's going to be the Nintendo presentation at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and then just do the math from wherever you live from there. And then on Friday at was it 6 a.m. Pacific time or 8 a.m. Pacific time, they're going to have the Treehouse event.
I
So
want to say it's 6:30, something like I
it's
don't know why they're doing
actually
they're probably doing it early for East Coast cuz
I don't know why I'm not just looking at it right here because I have the Nintendo tab open. 6:30. You're right. It's a really weird number actually. 6:30 Pacific time, 9:30 Eastern time. They are doing the Treehouse event live with the Nintendo Switch, and it's very exciting. So you go ahead and
So
kick it off, Chewy.
All right, so I guess I've got a ton of predictions. Not too many, but I will say that they gradually get more and more unbelievable as I go. um, yeah, I guess there's all the stuff people are expecting to see, and I decided to just do stuff that, you know what, this could be believable in some scenarios, but I mean, looking at it that way, there's so many other scenarios where this just won't happen.
Mhm.
But I guess it just like simply my prediction about like the presentation. I think we're gonna see like a couple of videos or just like one big video that is kind of like a montage to show off essentially games that are launching in probably like the first year
Yeah,
of
that makes
Nintendo.
sense. Like, cause that would be, I guess, in their behavior because the way they've been handling the Switch is like Steven Bomb style, just like here's a whole bunch of stuff all at once. And
Yeah, and I feel like, especially like you said, how they've been handling it is just like, oh, here's nothing forever and then here's everything. And I think they want to avoid like the Wii U. I want to say news was really scattered for the Wii U, and we barely got like any heads up on what was coming.
yeah, the
And so
Wii.
I think they want to avoid that and just kind of give us something to look forward to outside of just like what Nintendo always does.
Yeah, like the Wii U, it had that. It was really weird. Like they kind of released stuff a little bit here, a little bit there, but it was like almost nothing for the entire ride until it launched, and then once it launched, it was like, hey, here it is, guys. Uh,
Yeah, and I feel like that hurt them a lot. Like, oh, it's been out for 2 months. Now here's some stuff that's kind of interesting. Maybe you'll buy it now. Whereas,
Right.
like, I think they've really got to hit the hype hard right now. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to this for a long time,
Hmm.
and yeah, it'd just be something they would. I'd say it'd be like a bit of a miss if they didn't have like a video that just like montaged a lot of really cool stuff.
I feel like, honestly, to me, I don't know how much they will announce, but I feel like they have to have like 10 games at least. I feel like if they show off like they're saying at least 10 games, not necessarily first party, but or not even necessarily new. Like if they were like to say Splatoon Definitive Edition and Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Breath of the Wild, maybe Pokemon Stars, which is Pokemon Stars. That's one that is essentially confirmed.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah. It was revealed by GameStop actually, and then it's so
I don't know like how much to believe of that. Like I feel like some of it's like, oh, let's put this little placeholder in. We can take it out if it's not a thing.
well,
So
see, it wasn't just a placeholder. It was that they announced it on Twitter and then removed it.
oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah.
yeah, they pulled it off. It was let me find it real quick. Let me find the tweet. There's a quoted thing, I have it around here, I believe. Let's see, they removed the tweet. Someone's got to have a screenshot of it. But they straight up confirmed it. Here's the picture. Is it Nintendo Switch games will include new title offerings from Mario, Splatoon, Zelda, the NBA, and more. Let's see. Play Skyrim. You will even be able to play Skyrim on the go, Pokemon at home, Nintendo Switch. Just kind of running over these. I think this is not the tweet I'm looking for. Haha, like minor Star Wars reference. Um, but
What's funny about that is, oh, I guess I get into like my marketing mindset because I did marketing for a long time,
uh-huh.
and so like I know the whole process of like scheduling things out, and I'm like, okay, so like what day did that come out? Did people like accidentally put, I guess what are we, January instead of like, I don't know, later this year, or is it just like a year out where this thing was supposed to be scheduled? I'm assuming probably like a couple months or a month before,
Mm-hmm.
or a week in this case. But yeah, it's funny you mention, I guess, while you're looking at that, Smash, Mario Kart, and Splatoon, because I'd say
Yeah.
my next little prediction thing, which seems very likely, is especially the way Smash, Mario Kart, and Splatoon worked on the Wii U, is I feel like we could see them all as launch titles because they have like all of the HD assets there to work with, and
Right.
it would essentially be adding new content. And especially with like Smash and Mario Kart, like they both got DLC that people paid for, and like it sold
Yeah.
well, I think. Especially for me, like I was like, oh man, Mario Kart Animal Crossing stage all over that.
Yeah.
um, and then Splatoon, just like since its launch, like we just saw DLC after DLC come out, like with stages, new weapons, and everything. So I feel like if we see these games, I think they're likely at launch, but also like they're likely to be definitive versions where we're just seeing updates throughout the lifetime of the Switch.
Yeah. I think that's because some people were speculating that it would be a sequel like to Splatoon, but I think it's HD remaster. Hey Steve, do you have any input? You've been pretty quiet.
I'm just pitying the days I have to work at GameStop for the next couple weeks.
That's not relevant to what we're talking about.
You know how many people are gonna call me for the Switch about pre-orders if we're gonna have it? It's gonna be fun for me. I'm looking forward to the Switch,
Do you
but
guys get like, I guess, an email that goes out and it's like, oh, if people call on the phone, just open with, no, we don't have any Switch pre-orders? Because I feel like a lot of people start calling GameStop and then like it's an automatic thing.
Yeah,
there
like you just
was
have
a
to say that
point
immediately.
where we were getting calls from other stores about 3DSs because this holiday season, all Nintendo products were miraculously sold out, which was lovely because
Oh, that's
almost
right.
25% of our phone calls were, "Do you have this Nintendo product?" And the thing was, we had a 3DS in our store, but it was still in our system because we couldn't sell it because it was a layaway item. But it would always pop up for the stores that we have it. So we would get calls from people from other stores, just constantly. And that's why my manager was like, "Yeah, just if it's a GameStop, say, are you calling about the Switch? I mean, not the Switch, the 3DS." And it's like, yeah, it's not for sale.
That's funny.
But I feel like the Switch is gonna be a fun console. I really hope I could get one in the near future. But
yeah, that brings us actually to the point of Nintendo's really poor ability to have product for the first few months usually. I back in the day when the Wii came out, actually, I got it in the first week that it came out. I didn't get it day one, but I got it in the first week, and that was like insane that I got it. But following suit, like every system they launched after that, and amiibos and everything, there's almost zero product, and there's already the talk about it now that pre-orders go live Friday morning for the Nintendo store. I guess individual retailers can do that whenever they want. They don't necessarily have to do it as soon as they could either do it in the morning or they could do it right as it's announced during the press event. But like, what kind of effect do you guys think that'll have on the Switch's like lifespan? Because some people are saying that it is it's bad because people aren't getting it and whatnot, and the problem with that is that some people might lose interest, but then other people say that it ends up creating a you want what you can't have, so then everybody wants it more because they can't find it. And that's like why with the NES Classic we saw it jump up to like $600 for a $60 toy.
Yeah, I want to say with the Wii, it's weird, just because I want to say Nintendo wasn't prepared for the demand for the Wii specifically. Because I know, like, at this point, that was their best-selling console. So many people have a Wii. But, like, after that, like, it seems really weird that they wouldn't expect that kind of demand at this point from some of their stuff. So, I guess I don't really know if I would believe that they're like intentionally lowering, I guess, stock of things. But I'd say as somebody who really wants to get Switch day one, I'd be really annoyed not being able to get it. I don't think it would stop me from getting it later once it's available, but I'd be annoyed. I'd say it's more of an annoyance than just some sort of marketing ploy.
Well, I know for sure you're getting one. Yeah, like you're one of those people that's like there's no way you're not getting one. But like, what do you think for like the normal? Let's just go with the average gamer that's not someone who plays games all the time. They really enjoy games, but someone who's like they want it and it's not for sale everywhere. Like for me, like with the Nintendo Classic, I want it. I'm not gonna pay over the retail price though, and I'll just wait till it's in stock. But it's like, I don't know, like I feel like some people, it's like the fire might die on them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I'd say for the average person, like, I mean, who's not me at least, I'd just be like, oh, I wanted to get this thing, but it's not around anymore. So I'd definitely at that point put it in the back of my mind, be like, oh, okay, if I see one, that's cool, but if I don't, who cares at that point? And I think that's where Nintendo really needs to, like, I guess, keep a stock of the system out, just because like, it's not like it's gonna spoil on the shelves. It's not fruits or vegetables. It's just gonna sit there for a little longer to make the sale.
See, like if you look at other business practices though, like look at Apple, they do sell out of products often, and they end up having reserve orders. Like people will be waiting months at a time to get their order, and but at the same time they have a ton of product like day one. It's like even though it sells out, they have a lot of them. Like if you go out to any iPhone release, it's like, okay, you have people waiting in front of the Apple Store, and it's, you'll have like hundreds of people, and those hundreds of people end up getting it. Whereas with Nintendo products, you have hundreds of people waiting for them, and like 5 people get it.
Yeah, that overall sucks. And I think they should avoid that. Like, I think they're gonna get over these next 3 months, or at least they're gonna try to get like a good idea of like what the demand is gonna be. Because I know, what are they set at? Like 2 million units to sell, and within
yeah,
that first
I actually
month or
don't have
so.
that analytic. I'm not sure exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, I want to
If you
say they're
have it pulled
looking.
up, then yeah.
I want to say they're looking at like 2 million units to sell on
That-
like the first month or so.
Like on
And
the first month. See, that's actually pretty surprising because that's actually lowballing it. So then if they're expecting 2 million, then they'll probably be satisfied no matter what. But that's also kind of scary, because if they're saying 2 million for the first month, maybe they're actually expecting to make barely more than that. I mean, for an example, bringing up a system that I personally love but is not very popular is the PlayStation Vita. On its first weekend, it sold over 3 million units.
Mhm.
But the thing is it's only sold about 15 million over its entire lifespan, and it's a commercial failure. I mean, there's no getting around it. The Vita was a commercial failure, and like when you say if they're saying 2 million as their goal, when the Vita sold 3 million in its first days, it's like that's a little worrisome when I hear that number.
Yeah, I think we're looking. Well, I feel like we've been looking at like kind of a scared Nintendo, like the past 4 years or so. Like ever since the Wii U, like it was just like abysmal for them. I think.
I think that was all the
coming off
marketing
of the
too.
Wii. Yeah, it was definitely like a marketing thing. But then like just like coming from that, and I think a lot of their moves to me have been like very, I guess, safe. I would say they're being safe with what they're trying to do, because I think they've just gone through like this failure after failure for like a while now, and they're like, all right, let's just try this out for a little bit, not make too many so that we lose a lot of money and have stuff we can't sell, but with the Switch, I don't know. I want them to treat it differently. I want people to be, I guess. I want Nintendo themselves to be like, you know what? We're putting out something really great this time, and we're gonna believe it, and we're gonna put like just put systems out there. Because I mean, they haven't like straight out said it, but I want them to keep in mind like replacing the 3DS with the Switch.
Right. I think,
like they have the mobile market. They have the mobile market there. Like nobody does like portable gaming like they do. I mean,
right. And then
so
that's one thing actually, going back on Nintendo's thing, like why the Wii sold so well is it really hit that casual market. And I mean, that's what they didn't hit with the Wii U, because the casual market went to cell phones. And the thing that I think that the biggest hurdle for Nintendo, I think with the Switch, is going to be trying to convince your basic person that the Switch is better than their cell phone. To like, why should they buy a Switch when they've already got a nice cell phone? Because you can play games on phones nowadays, and it's to the point where it's like, okay, at first when phones became gaming devices, people are like, who wants to game on a touchscreen? But now there's Bluetooth controllers and like docks, and very similar to what the Switch is actually doing, like say a kickstand on the table and you're holding a controller, and then there's emulators, and so it's a very very new environment when it comes to portable gaming. I mean, hardcore gamer always on the system, but go ahead.
I think what they're trying to do is, with like, I guess the Switch itself, is I know kids love tablets. Like they're all about like
Yeah.
tablet stuff, and I think that's very appealing to kids. And I think they've switched up the marketing in that way, where like when you're a kid, like you just want to grow up already and feel like you have some sense of freedom kind of thing. And so I feel like their first little video that they put out kind of captured that, where they're showing like it's all kind of like more young adult like to early adult people
Pretty
in
a
those
bunch of millennials,
commercials.
basically.
Yeah, essentially that, and I think that's appealing to kids. So I think they've
Right.
got like the tablet thing there to, I guess, like hit that market hard, but then
Right.
also like, oh, let's just play this on your TV. Like this can be a home console for you,
Yeah.
and so I think they have a good opportunity with it, just to like, hit that tablet market, and then like also keep it a console that people can, like, more hardcore gamers can take advantage of.
And I think that's important because the tablet market has been on the decline recently. It's been a little, people are sticking with the tablet that they had last year and whatnot. And I
Hmm.
feel like the Switch with its controllers and the fact that it is a game system has the ability to say, hey, this is different. This isn't just another tablet. This isn't just running Android. It's not another iOS device. It has a place. Like, since someone can actually be like, I want to play games, here it is. Kids like playing games. And even though they're marketing it towards the, young adult and more that kind of 20 through 30-year-old group, uh,
Hmm.
it's still like kids want to be adults. Don't want to be kids. But at the same time, parents know that Nintendo, for the most part, at least first party titles, are more than likely going to be family friendly. So the parents can at least say, hey, this'll work, even if it's like Twilight Princess, which wasn't necessarily totally kid friendly. It was still not too adult to where I'm pretty sure 99% of parents would be okay with their kid playing Twilight Princess.
Yeah, it's one of their darker ones, but yeah, I'd say like Nintendo games are gonna fall in that family friendly setting for sure.
Yeah.
But then yeah, like third parties, I mean, a lot of people are like discouraged at like third party support, just because like uh, I don't think any of us think that the Switch is gonna outpower anything.
I don't believe
um,
so.
yeah, so but I do think that, like, there are a lot of people who really like the 3DS or the PS Vita and everything, and they like mobile gaming. And I think
Yes.
it's appealing to have like those AAA games in a mobile setting where they're like, oh man, I can just go anywhere and play these games. Like,
Yeah,
it,
actually
it
that
doesn't necessarily have to be really powerful, but it's like appealing to think like, man, Skyrim on the go, what is life?
yeah, right, like actually going on one of our buddies, he's always on the channel, is Miguel. He absolutely loves Dark Souls.
Yes, he
And
does.
yeah, like Steve knows, like it's his favorite game. It's like all he thinks about all the time.
A
And
good example of how much he loves it is that for Christmas, I actually got him Dark Souls 3 and the strategy guide as well, and he was dry humping me how happy he was.
and it's funny too because you bought it for him, but he already owned it on other systems. Like,
But
it's
not
like,
on the glorious PC, my friend.
right, that's what I'm saying though. Like, he was happy to have it again, and he even said that if it actually does come out on Switch, he will for sure buy a Nintendo Switch. He's on the fence right now about getting it, but he said if Dark Souls, for example, comes on there, he will buy it because then he'll be able to play Dark Souls anytime, anywhere, wherever, however much he wants, like without any issue. And the encouraging thing is From Software themselves actually said they had Dark Souls 3 running at a fidelity that they were comfortable with.
That begs
So
the question. Dark Souls is a very big. Yes, it is like you could play single player, but it is a very big on like PvP and people
the
invading your game
online
and stuff like that.
multiplayer.
Yeah. So, how would they really incorporate that into the Switch? I know there's like in-game, like actual like invasions where it's based on in the story, but I can't play Dark Souls offline on my PC. No matter how hard I try, I had to be connected to a server.
Well, so here's the thing, I think. Well, Nintendo's definitely gotta have online down now. They really have to come to times, because even though they've started the Nintendo Network and have pushed forward a bit, it's not Xbox Live, it's not PlayStation Network, it's not Steam. They need to get on that level, I think. And if they are still having issues on the Switch with getting people to play online the way that they do everywhere else, there's going to be a problem, I think. Like, they need to not have these like very simple roadblocks. I know that they say they do it for like security reasons and for privacy for like children and whatnot. That has to end. Like, we're way past that. Like, we're way past the scary online world. It's now, if you're not online as a gaming console, it is like you're outdated.
Yeah, and like, I mean, Dark Souls is one example, but even like games with like Splatoon, like those are their own games that are like very multiplayer heavy, and it's like all online based the whole time.
Right.
So like,
I wonder if they do like they did with the PlayStation Vita, where it had like 3G support at the time. But the thing about the Vita, and you know this, Connor, they had the 3G capabilities of being able to play online through like AT&T.
Right.
But as soon as like the later versions, they just like, yeah, we're just dropping this and going straight to
Well,
Wi-Fi.
see, that's the thing that killed the 3G for the Vita was, one, it was very expensive and you were limited to AT&T in the US. You couldn't just use anything, and that, you know, put a lot of people off. I don't honestly think we're going to see mobile support, as in like having Wi-Fi or anything like that. We're not going to have 3G/4G support. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think it's going to be a Wi-Fi / you know, hook up to a hotspot type of system.
yeah, that's what I'd expect out of that. And I mean, like, I guess they've had their Nintendo zones for a while. I remember being like really blown away. Like, I went to San Diego Comic-Con, went to the Nintendo area, and like, I was connected to the internet there. Like,
yeah,
just from, I didn't have to do anything. I was just already connected.
That's every McDonald's is a Nintendo zone, isn't it? I believe everyone is. I know the one in Crestline, in the little podunk Crestline in the mountains, is a Nintendo zone. So I would assume that every McDonald's is a Nintendo zone.
Yeah, so I feel like if they could keep that kind of thing up, like maybe spread to other like partnerships with people, like, you have ways around it. But yeah, I don't see them doing like any kind of mobile type of thing either.
I think what they definitely should do, and this is just a desire, is they should definitely make some local area play really easy to do, like almost simulated online, to where instead of being like, okay, oh, there's a guy over there, let me go up to him and say, hey, let's go ahead and play together. It needs to be like seamless, to where it's like other people are playing, maybe like show their gamer tag or something, just like a little blip of people that are near you playing.
Yeah, and you're totally reminding me now too. Like, I didn't write this down, but I'm glad you're like bringing this up. But because I do really want the Switch to like kind of essentially replace the 3DS. It'd be cool to keep like those Street Pass features. And then maybe have that play, and then maybe have that play into like, oh, there's somebody nearby, let's play this game that we're both playing, you know?
Yeah. And see, that would be great. Like, the thing that Miguel, actually, when he's thinking of Dark Souls, his like biggest desire is that he could be sitting, like, let's say he's in the waiting room at like the doctor's office or something, and he has a Switch and he's playing Dark Souls, and then there's someone else there also playing Dark Souls somewhere, and then they can actually invade each other and like actually start playing seamlessly. Like, you know, neither of them is connected online, but because they're both on a Switch and they're both there, it basically makes an online, like a local online play, where it's seamless. Like, they don't have to worry about connecting to each other.
Yeah, I'm 100% for that. That'd be great.
That'd be amazing.
Especially with like how quickly like you could just do some races in Mario Kart.
I mean, now with near field communication technology, it is possible. I mean, I'd imagine it being like,
well, it wouldn't be NFC. NFC is very short range.
I think it'd be like your own like personal bubble.
I would say it's like It would have to be kind of like how Wi-Fi routers work, where they kind of where they blipped and then sync to each other. Where it's like, okay, this one's sending out a signal, this one's also sending out a signal. They both see that each other are sending signals, and then they sync up, and then they create one signal together.
Exactly, which would be really cool.
That would be amazing. So, going off of that part, let's talk about predictions on games and such. I think right off the bat, Breath of the Wild, it's got to be day one launch. I think they're going to bundle it. I think they're going to have the system. I think Breath of the Wild's going to be on a shelf. I think they're going to have a Breath of the Wild like bundle day one, because I know there was the rumor about it. But I think it's going to be that's going to be side by side, both on the shelf.
I saw the Hori thing.
Yeah,
make, the controllers.
I want to say more and more people are convinced that it's going to be a launch title for sure. And, I'd actually be interested to see if they actually do, like, like the Zelda-themed Wii U. Like, if they did a Zelda-themed Switch. Like, I feel like we might see that.
As far as pre-orders go, I feel like that would be insane. It's like
that's the one that'll go first for sure.
I imagine it's gonna be. I imagine this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna go to GameStop, and they're gonna be accepting pre-orders, and they're like, we have 5 for pre-order and 1 Zelda edition, something like that. It'll be
usually that's how it goes down. I could imagine that at like Friday at 5 in the morning, there's probably going to be some guy waiting there for pre-orders.
Dude, there'll probably be a line of people, and you'll have to tell half of them to go home.
I'll be there. It won't be yours, your GameStop, but I'll be at one of them.
I can imagine.
Fly all the way back to California just to buy a Switch.
Oh, jeez. No, he's better off in New York because...
No, he's in Utah.
East Coast. Oh.
Yeah, I'm in Utah right now.
East Coast people are better off because they get that 3-hour advantage on us.
That's not how time works, Steve.
But they also have the Nintendo store in New York.
Yeah, the Nintendo store.
So that's an advantage overall.
Yeah, they actually announced that they were having, at 9 a.m. on Friday, they were opening their doors for pre-orders.
Yeah. So. It's funny. Okay, so this is actually my craziest prediction. I put it at the bottom of the list because it's specifically the craziest prediction that I've got. And it's and it's Breath of the Wild, specifically. I'm predicting, this is never going to happen, but I'm predicting that there will be a surprise release of Breath of the Wild for Wii U tomorrow.
Just launching
on the eShop only. That's my prediction.
See, that would be good in the sense of, hey, Wii U people, you finally have something, like right there and now, like something to like really gloat about, because there's people excited for Breath of the Wild that
just don't have a Wii U.
They just don't have a Wii U, and they're like, oh, I'll just get it on the Switch. So if they did that, it would be pretty interesting.
So here's my reasoning behind it too. Like, just thinking of Nintendo as a business, I feel like after tomorrow, they're not making any money until March. Like, there's no reason to buy a Wii U. People are going to see the Switch and think immediately, like, oh, there's no reason to buy a 3DS. This is going to replace that, too. So I don't think they're going to be selling any consoles. I don't think people are going to be...
They have been pulling them off the shelf, so...
Yeah, I don't think people are buying games for either of those. Like, I specifically have not been buying games for 3DS or Wii U just because I'm like, the Switch is going to come out.
It's a time,
there's no reason to, really. So I think the only way they're going to sell anything is Breath of the Wild for Wii U coming out early.
Yeah, and that honestly, if they have confidence in it, and I think they do, because they've been advertising it like a motherfucker, just to put it bluntly. They have not been shallow in how they are covering it. It was their only E3 game. It was on Jimmy Fallon when they revealed the Switch to basically the general public, because gamers knew about it. But when they put it on Jimmy Fallon, that's huge, honestly.
That was a lot of people's first looks at what this game was.
Yeah, and if you were to tell people, oh, that game that they were playing there, yes, it's going to be on the Switch, but the only way you can play it right now is to do this, and then there's going to be a bunch of people that are like, okay, I'll just wait for the Switch, and then it has to be good, because if it's a bad game, then it's like, oh, okay, well that was a game that apparently didn't turn out so well. But I mean, I don't. If you look at the aggregate of Nintendo first-party titles, like of Zelda, Mario, just those two specifically, they never rate lower than a 9 essentially everywhere. So it's pretty safe bet.
From my point of view on that whole Wii U getting Zelda first, I kind of don't see that happening. And it's from my standpoint because the whole thing about Nintendo items selling this year, like this past holiday season, we've been sold out and we haven't even been like, we haven't gotten any new Wii U's, any new like 3DS's.
Well, see, that's what actually supports Chuy's idea, is that it'll be there, but you won't have the ability to play it. So they won't be selling to the people who, like, they only will sell to the people who can play it. They're not selling to people who could play it. Like, it's like there's people who have a Wii U, they can play it now. And then there's people who don't have a Wii U and won't be able to get a Wii U. And, I mean, they can always buy used, but...
I want to say Nintendo's like at the thought process with the Wii U where they're like, you know what, whoever is going to own this system already owns this system.
Yeah.
And so I don't see them like trying to necessarily sell systems, but more like, oh, here's this game that you guys have been waiting for, a little reward for you. And here's my other thing though too, because I personally, I don't think I would buy Breath of the Wild at this point for Wii U. Like, I'd wait for the Switch and just save my money for that version, unless they also announce that your eShop purchases are now tied to your account rather than a system.
That's something they definitely need to fix. Yeah.
Yeah, because then if I could buy Breath of the Wild on the eShop tomorrow and know that I can download it later on the Switch, yes. Of course. That's a no-brainer for me.
And that would be really smart, because then that's like people knowing that they'll be able to keep playing it. It would be an interesting thing. I'm not sure. I'm really odd on that one. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, it seems like it could be an interesting idea, like good, but at the same time it's like, okay, but then there's the idea that people have it already, so that their hype for it dies down, so they won't get the Switch.
Yeah. So that's like the other thing.
But it's like, the people who own a Wii U are gonna buy a Switch.
Yeah.
Like, if you're already own a Wii U, you've proven that you're a Nintendo loyal fan. And they're not gonna sell a Wii U. Like, no one who doesn't already have one isn't gonna be like, I'm gonna go out and buy a Wii U to play Zelda, when they can wait 2 months and get it. So.
Yeah, so it's my craziest prediction. I think they're like, there's a scenario where it would work for them, but, you know, I think it's a long shot. Another thing that I think would make it more believable is people also have the idea that the new 3D Mario is going to be a launch title. And so, like, for a lot of us, it's like, you know, Mario and Zelda at the same time. That's kind of like, that's Nintendo's two biggest things to come out all at once.
That's a Nintendo joygasm, man. Yeah, gin and juice, peanut butter jelly, like, that's just, yeah, that'd be incredibly good.
So I think, like, if Zelda were to launch, like, surprise on the Wii U, like, I would expect Mario to be a launch title, just to keep, like, oh, here's the people who already own Zelda, but you know what, get the Switch anyway, because there's this cool new Mario game.
Now, see, my prediction with Mario is a little different, though, because what I think is going to happen is I think that Mario, like the new Mario, the new one that they teased in the trailer, I think that's going to be released later this year, not when the Switch releases. But I think they're going to say Mario Maker is going to be available.
I could see that one.
I feel like they're gonna reveal tomorrow that Mario Maker will be a Switch title basically at launch. Like, boom, there you go, have fun.
Yeah, I think Mario Maker falls under that category of like Smash, Mario Kart, and Splatoon, where it's just like, it's so replayable.
Which I think all of those are gonna be day one launches as well. I think they're just gonna be like, hey, those of you who didn't have a Wii U, here's everything that you missed. That was great. and we
Yeah.
know people wanted to play these. Here they are right now. You can play them on the go. You play them in your car. Like, go ahead and have fun with them. And
Yeah, and as one of those like fans who like I already have all those games on the Wii U, I'd prefer it to see like Nintendo's time is being taken up with new stuff in the like following the launch rather than like, oh man, they're just like waiting to do another port of a game. So I'd rather see like all of those ports come out really early on and then just be able to look forward to new games than just like double dipping on stuff I already own.
That's what I was saying. Like, day one, I think we're gonna get Breath of the Wild. I think we're gonna get all those HD. I don't know if you want to call them HD remakes or whatever you want to call them. Just the ports of those games that we just mentioned. And then I think Skyrim is going to be there. I think that legitimately. I know that they didn't confirm it, and that they said that they were like thinking about it, and they didn't want to confirm anything. I honestly think that's going to be a launch title. Like, day one, you can buy Skyrim when you buy a Switch, because the HD, the Skyrim Special Edition is what they called it, right, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah, they called it Special Edition for some reason, but it's been out for a few months now, and I think they're just like, it's to the point where, okay, it came out, so why not go ahead and just boom, there it is.
Yeah, I believe Skyrim will be there for sure. Just because, like, we haven't like heard anything from other companies, but it's just like obvious that Nintendo is keeping everything just like zipped, and it's going to be a fire hydrant tomorrow. I expect a fire hydrant of just like information dump of here's what you're getting, guys, because it's been too quiet, as a little too quiet as all those great cliches go. And so I just think like there's no way they can be this quiet and come up with nothing, So to me, yeah, Skyrim is one of those titles that I feel is for sure going to be there. But as far as like newer stuff, this one, my love for Animal Crossing.
Yes.
I want to see some footage for a new Animal Crossing. They're working on mobile, and I have that video about like, will Animal Crossing be a launch title? No, I don't think so. I think we'll see footage. I think there's a possibility of footage, but somebody in the comments like mentioned, they're making the mobile Animal Crossing, but I feel like it's a good opportunity for them to connect mobile with their Switch consoles.
See, and they didn't say what the mobile version of Animal Crossing was going to be.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
So I mean, they could say, hey, they just merely said we're coming out with 3 apps, is what they said. Like, they didn't necessarily say games. So I mean, it could always be that it'll be a mobile companion to the Switch version of Animal Crossing. That was something I was thinking about, where you could maybe manage some things, or they could add quite a few features that would be like, oh, I could do this from my phone. Maybe I don't have my Switch, so here's this. Or even so much as like maybe send packets of data from the Switch to your phone so that you can do certain things. Maybe not full online support, because that would be tethering, but I feel like small packets of stuff would like it. It's transferring from the Switch to the app and then to your data.
Yeah, I think I'm really interested to see how they treat like Animal Crossing as a mobile title, because Animal Crossing, like, of all their games, gives me the most like pay to play vibe out of any of their series. And like, I think they could take advantage of that, but then also take advantage of like, oh, if you paid for this, like this exclusive item on mobile, you can have it in your game too, like be able to do that kind of thing.
And the thing about Animal Crossing too, the reason why I think it's gonna come early, or at least be announced early, is because it's always been the kind of highlight of the system. Like, they're kind of showing off what the system's capable of. Like, back when it came out on GameCube, it had the e-reader, and it had the GBA cable link so that you could go to the island. and it has all those little features that they were like, hey, check out what the GameCube could do. It was all just in there, like it was just peppered in. And then on the DS version, the original on Wild World, it was like basically a 3D game, and it showed off that the DS was able to do 3D models, and even though they were very simple, and it like today's standards, the graphics on that are pretty poor, but
Yeah.
it still
They also
showed
did,
off
like,
what
the
it could
online play with that
Right.
specifically. Like,
yeah, the online play was something that's like, hey, look, the DS can connect online. And then they also had the stylus did a lot of stuff. Like, you could organize your furniture with the stylus. You could draw and make patterns. It really showed off what the DS could do. And then when they did it on the original Wii, it was they had the little voice chat thingy.
hmm
I forgot what they called it, but
like WeChat, or I forget
Yeah.
too.
and they had several other features that were like Wii centric, like just using the fishing rod for your pole.
Yeah,
And,
and even using the pointer too on the screen was pretty
Right.
nifty.
Yeah, like
Especially
managing all
'cause
your
I think-
stuff.
Yeah, I want to say that game like added a lot of, I guess, I'd say Wild World and City Folk were similar, and they
They
both
were
kind
they were
of
basically
added.
the same game. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of the same mechanisms, like where you could touch on the screen and open this menu. So they kept that going with the pointer.
Yeah, and it showed off what you can do with a Wii, and then that's like with a 3DS, it's a 3D game, and it looked great. Like it was like head and shoulders above the DS version.
Oh, I loved it.
it has the entire setup for online. It had just everything. Like it was showing off. Like it always shows off what a system can do. But the thing, as we saw with the 3DS, they showed it when they announced the system. It didn't come out for another 2 years.
Yeah, even looking at that first trailer when they showed it, like that game looked really different than the final product.
Right, and I still have that original trailer on my DS. Actually, I remember in high school, I was showing it to him. It was like, oh, look at there it is. It's in 3D and everything. But
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, and it's or actually it was 3 years. It wasn't 2 years. It was 3 years that we saw it, and they were like, here it is. We're working on it, and then it was 3 years until it finally came out because it was from June to
so
June.
long.
Yeah, so it was an actual factual 3 years from showing to release, which took forever. Like it seemed like forever at the time. And
Yeah, Animal Crossing, so nostalgic for me. But that makes me think of my next little prediction. I think we're gonna see the guys from Playtonic there with ukulele.
I think so too, solely because they said that they're canceling it for the Wii U, and that they
Yeah.
are working closely with Nintendo.
Yeah,
the
that
Switch.
little announcement was too suspicious for me. I was just like, okay, so you guys are gonna be at the presentation, and you're gonna. This makes me feel giddy, but just like essentially you're coming back to Nintendo finally.
Right. And the thing about it, them moving ukulele to the Switch is saying this is stronger than the Wii U. It's that's immediately saying that, because that was their problem with the Wii U, is they were saying that they were having issues getting it to run properly at their like comfortable settings, and then the Switch can do it, is according to them. So
Yeah, I think this for me like also makes third-party games in general feel like more believable. Like I think a lot of people had trouble making games for the Switch, and just in general, like there was no point to it. Like they weren't going to make money on the Switch. But no, I mean the Wii U. Sorry.
on the
All
Wii U,
mixed up
yeah.
now. Yeah. Like it was pointless for them to make games on the Wii U. Like it's hard, and like these people do this for a living. But if they're having difficulty getting a game to run on a Wii U,
Yeah.
and they know there's not going to be money there,
Right, and that's where the whole Dark Souls thing comes back. The fact that they said they had Dark Souls 3, which is the hardest to run of the three, running at a comfortable level that they were okay with, means, hey, third-party developers don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
Which,
And-
going to hardware, it's NVIDIA that's making the hardware in the Switch, which it's like there were some leaks about the power of it being similar to the Tegra X1 chip, which is now, getting a little long in the tooth. But when you compare it, like, at the same time, they're not making a new version of the shield. They're not making a new shield. So it's like, are they gonna make the new, the new chip, the number 2, or is it just gonna be a slightly modified 1? It's confusing because price-wise, it's in that same bracket.
Yeah, I don't really know, like, completely what to expect with this. Like, I guess my immediate thought was, Nintendo is gonna want a system that can, like, catch up a little bit and do what their prior systems haven't been able to do since, like, the Wii and Wii U generations. And so I want to say, like, it's at least, like, modded a bit to, like, upgrade the power. But yeah, I don't know what to expect in terms of power. Outside of just, like, this isn't going to beat, like, the Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah,
like,
I think
that's my expectation. But I think it could be surprising.
I feel like we're going to be just under, like, the original Xbox One, not the S or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit under that because they're running a 720p screen, so that gives them some room to work with on the power. They can, they could be a little underpowered and still look very good because it's 720p on the little screen, with rumored boosted specs when it's docked, which I feel like that just means it's going to run exactly how it runs handheld, but at 1080p instead of 720.
Yeah. Which could be good. I mean, no complaints for me. Like, me, like, I just want to play Nintendo games most of the time.
You just want to play games, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, like, incredibly worried about the power.
Yeah, I'm just worried that, like, about the ability to play the games. I don't, like, honestly, if they're scaled down a little bit, that doesn't bother me. If they're running at 720p 30 frames per second, that really doesn't bother me much either, because when you're playing on a handheld, the 30 frames per second looks okay on a handheld. You don't need it to be 60 necessarily.
Yeah, I'm still impressed with their, like, they got Smash to run at 60 on the 3DS, which is pretty incredible.
Right, and yeah, they did drop the models down, but that's the thing, is it looks fine. Like, that doesn't bother me. As long as game developers can easily port their games without a headache, then I'm okay with it. Like, I don't care if you have to scale it down a little bit and you have to run at the lower settings. I mean, that's fine to me, because it'll still look good when it's when it's a small screen. Even though it's lower resolution, it's smaller. Like, the Vita is not 1080p, but the Vita still looks great.
Yeah, a small screen really does wonders for a game.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve? Any predictions that you've had about the Switch?
I liked how, like, 5 minutes ago you were going to me, but then you guys went back into it.
You can cut in at any time. You are allowed to speak.
Every time I try to speak, I feel like I'm cutting off people, alright?
And no, we give you permission to speak now.
Okay. Oh, man. Alright. I just feel like I'm keeping the seat warm for actually somebody important for the podcasts. But, alright, my predictions. Basically, I agree with all of everything you guys said so far about, like, Zelda and Smash and all the Mario stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see, like ports and stuff like that. One thing I predict them to announce, I know it was a rumor, but GameCube emulation on the Switch.
That would be amazing. That would be
yes.
Great. I would have fun with that.
And
put Melee on there.
Yeah, that was a rumor I saw about Melee specifically.
Yeah, the rumor right now is Melee, Super Mario Sunshine, and Luigi's Mansion. And you know what? I think, just, like, coming from being a person who owns the Wii U, GameCube is just something we haven't had in ever.
Ever since the GameCube.
Ever since the GameCube, there's been no GameCube. So I think that's okay. So yeah, as far as like the GameCube goes, we haven't had it for so long, and like those are three completely awesome games to launch with for a virtual console. And then just like my thoughts immediately go to original Animal Crossing. That's going to be awesome to play that on the go or switch back to the TV. That I can't comprehend it.
Then my other prediction, because I'm looking, don't get me wrong, I love Nintendo and I love Nintendo games, but I've always played mostly third-party games. And seeing that the Switch is going to have a lot of third-party support, I do imagine I would love to have Dark Souls as well, because Miguel got me hooked into it. So I don't have the same love as he does, but that would be fun to play. But also, don't get me wrong, I love Mario, but I've always been a Sonic guy. So I really hope, because obviously Sonic Mania is going to be on it, but I really hope that they show off the new Sonic 2017 project that they showed off 5 months ago. It was like a trailer with they didn't call it Generations 2, but they said it's something different, but it involves modern and original Sonic. And it looks like they might actually add Dreamcast Sonic to it, because people are making speculations about that.
Oh, Adventure.
Yeah, like Adventure Sonic, which would be really cool. And then, yeah, just the third-party stuff I'm just looking forward to more.
And that brings me back to the sampling of Nintendo Switch partners, where we had that big list, and Sega's on there, From Software's on there, you know, it's a whole bunch. I mean, who knows if those people are actually making stuff right now for it, but if they are, that's really good news.
Yeah. As far as like third party goes, I guess the ones I'd look forward to, this one I had written down, but I was always really disappointed that the Wii U didn't get the latest Rock Band. Because I was like, oh man, I don't have a PS4 and I don't have an Xbox One. I just have the Wii U right now. But I love, music's probably one of the things. It's for sure a thing I love more than video games. But like rhythm gaming, I'm just like, man, that's like everything I want right there. So Rock Band, yeah, I'd love to see Rock Band come to the Switch. I know. I kind of looked at the list of publishers Rock Band has, and I'm like, EA is on that list, Warner Brothers is on that list. Probably a stretch. We didn't really see Harmonix in that like initial announcement for Switch partners, you know. But that's a game I'd like to see.
That would be nice. I think, see, that could work out really well, because you could basically have a jam session with your buddies wherever.
Yeah.
Like,
I think like
pull it all out and just start playing.
Yeah, you know, and off of that, I don't know. There hasn't been like confirmation of a touch screen at all, but like if it did have a touch screen, I think that would work pretty well if you were on the go too.
I think that was something I actually saw. I could find the link for it, but it was something I saw that it was the 720p with a touchscreen, with an actual touchscreen, not a stylus touchscreen.
Yeah, more of like what phones are using.
If they do add a touchscreen, and on the line of music rhythm games, if they do have the touchscreen and everything, the one game I would love for Nintendo to make, the new Elite Beat Agents. That game is just so much fun to play.
Yeah,
and seeing a remastered one, or remastered or new, I would love it.
Yeah, I love me some rhythm gaming. That'd be fun. And then other third-party things. This is my last, like, one of them is a complete long shot. Another one is possible. They're both Square Enix, though. I was thinking Kingdom Hearts 3 prediction for Switch.
It's
possible.
I mean,
Nintendo's always worked well with Square Enix, I think.
Nintendo has had the portable Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah, they have the DS
They have the
game.
DS. They had it on. They had it on GBA with Chain of Memories. They had 358 over 2 days on the regular DS, and then they had not Birth by Sleep. What was it?
Dream Drop Distance.
Yeah, Dream Drop Distance was on the 3DS.
Yeah, so I think everybody's minds would be blown to see like a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer for the Switch.
Yeah.
Like if that were the debut. But then also like I think Pokemon the show moved on to Disney XD. So like there's also a relationship with Disney there.
And Kingdom Hearts 3 has been inexplicably delayed several times.
Just
So-
like Breath of the Wild.
Just like
you
Breath of the
know?
Wild, which is supposed to it was supposed to release holiday 2015, and then all of a sudden they said, "Oh, it's going to be delayed." And then all of a sudden they announced that they actually were going to be launching a new system, and hey, look at that, it's been delayed until the new system comes out. So, maybe there could be a very big thing there.
Yeah,
That would be
and then
fun.
and then my second one is Final Fantasy VII HD. I want to say like just having Cloud in Smash was like a good opportunity for them
That's
to get
true.
that game.
That's a big thing. I didn't even think about that, but saying the fact that they just threw Cloud in to Smash Brothers is kind of a thing to take note of when it comes to porting games or whatnot. And to get Final Fantasy VII on the Switch with the the whole awesome new version would be just a jump of joy in most people's hearts.
Yeah, and I think like Nintendo's gotten like random Final Fantasy games. They got 3 and 4, right? Were there
Yeah.
any others?
They had 3 and 4. I know
And then
that
they have
on
like the whole
DS.
array of like Tactics or Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, and then they're working with Square Enix on what is that weird named Bravely Default.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I love those games. They're so
Right.
good. It just like streamlines the RPG grind.
Yeah, so actually that seems very plausible. I think that honestly seems a little like, oh, that would be the best thing. Like it could be a little far-fetched saying we'll get Kingdom Hearts 3 like specifically, but like holy crap, that would be really amazing. I would love that, honestly.
Yeah.
Or we
so
could get another Chain of Memories style Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
I enjoyed Chain of Memories. I know a lot of people thought the card system was odd, but
I love kind of like those card-based battle systems. I don't know what it is about them. Maybe it's just like growing up playing like TCG or Yu-Gi-Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. That
So
was weird.
do-
My Discord cut out for like 4 seconds.
Oh, well, I got you guys. I mean, at least on the recording end, it's here. Any any last thoughts that you have on this? Like, what are the last things you want to say about the Switch before we end up wrapping it all the way up? Anything we didn't touch on your list, or Steve? Any thoughts you've been having? You have been very
Nintendo?
silent.
Nintendo, like we all learned in class, if you're gonna have the Switch, make sure you've brought enough for the whole class.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess mine in general is just like I want to see, essentially a fire hydrant opened up in front of us. It's been quiet for so long. I think it's time for them to just let loose. And yeah, I want to see an excited Nintendo, like not this scared
Yeah.
Nintendo. Being
I
the
don't want to
passenger.
see like the past couple E3s where it's been, oh look, there's one game here at E3, and then before that there was they didn't have a press conference and they didn't announce anything at E3, and then all of a sudden it was like 2 months later they announced that they were doing the 3DS XL and like all these other games, and it was like, why didn't you announce it at E3, Nintendo? That's really weird. Everyone looks at E3 for the new stuff.
Yeah.
I think they just need to be like, there it is. Like they've scheduled this event, and we've been waiting 2 months now. So
I
Yeah.
don't want another sad feast of May.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's what I want to see from this presentation. I just want to see them actually excited. I want to see them like ready to tell us what's going on. I think they've been quiet too long, and I just want to see them be like.
Needs to sell the system. They need to make everyone want the system right now.
Yeah.
I'm too poor to want it right now.
We've got a couple months, maybe not for pre-orders, but you never know. Maybe stock will just be short, and
they usually always
plenty
have
of time.
some for not pre-order.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
oh, you didn't pre-order. Well, we happen to have 2 here that were like not secured on pre-order. They're fine.
I just hope that they don't do like a month like trial thing where you get like a bonus thing if you link your Nintendo account to your Switch
in
or
the first
like
month. That would be.
I would get
horrible.
so sad.
yeah.
I would probably if I see a kid with a Switch, I'd probably like kick him in the shin and run with it.
Yeah. I don't know what their problem is with systems. I mean, like Pokemon came out, and everybody, like the games themselves, like I don't think anybody had any problem getting Sun or Moon, you know?
Yeah, but systems, they're just really slow on it. Now, what we'll close on, price predictions. I'm hopeful for 250. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 300, and I would still be tempted at 350. But anything more than that, I would say is bad. I'd say 300 is what I like realistically. I'm like, okay, I think it's going to be 300. 250 is what I would love for it to be.
I'm right there with you. I think just like with the last holiday season, I was like, man, a PS4 or Xbox One are 250 right now.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I think to be competitive, I would say they have to hit that 250 mark, but they can't go over 300.
You're saying over 3. I would say 350 with like a bundle and like some goodies and stuff would be okay. Like myself personally, I would probably still get one at 350 just because I'm a fan of it. I don't think people would buy it though at that price. But
yeah, I think it's too high too.
I like the long shot. I would really love it if it was, I would say 200, but at that point I feel like that's like a sacrifice to the actual quality of what it could be at 200. Like 200 seems too low. Like the stuff, like the power would be too low. 250 seems like this is, you know.
Yeah, I think it hit right.
They're putting good product in it.
I predict $1.
$1, Bob.
That's a little bit over your 5 pesos mark from earlier.
Oh man.
All right, I guess that is it for UberCast Nintendo Edition featuring Chuy Plays Nintendo.
Awesome.
And for more podcast, game reviews, gameplay, fun stuff like that, subscribe to UberCrit and go ahead and give Chuy's channel a look. The link to his channel will be in the description. And he's always talking about Nintendo. That's is a full Nintendo-based channel.
Yep,
So,
that's what I do. Don't make any money off of it, but I do it for the love.
yes, it's for the love and glory of Nintendo gaming. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And there's Steve with us. He doesn't have his own channel, like of like gaming reason. I mean, he has his own little like videos that he makes, but they're there.
Yeah, yeah. Can I go back to my cage now, Connor?
I mean, not until you finished your tequila.
Oh man.
All right. Hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoyed listening to our podcast. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining us, Chuy.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Bye, Chewy.
Bye.